What's up, Internet? Welcome once again to the Free-to-Play Cast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. magicman, and this is episode 370. 370. We're recording on January 15th. We're, of course, doing it live on twitch.tv/MMOBomb, like we do every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you can make it. Next Friday, we have officially declared, is Bring a Friend Day. So we want to see as many people in chat for next week's show as we can. It'll be myself, Troy, and Q. It is Bring a Friend Day. Come on over, 1 p.m. Eastern, and bring at least one friend. And then we'll have our normal stream afterwards. But we've got a lot to cover today, so we kind of got to get right down to it. Covering all the news with me, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
Doing pretty well. And, you know, I will admit that you do have a better background than me. You know, certainly there's no doubt about that.
Right.
But at least I'm clearly the host on this show with the best hair. I mean, there's nothing could change that. I clearly have the best hair.
You are the Silver Fox. You are the Silver Fox. You are our Anderson Cooper war correspondent. That's why we send you into the hot spots like World of Tanks and War Thunder and Conqueror's Blade. And anywhere there is strife, we send Jason in for some first look and reporting.
Best hair on the show.
Best hair on the show. But you are right. By far, you are the lackingest background because Mr. Wilfredo Rivera is joining us today, and he has redone his. You look like you're in the den of serious gametitude.
This is the void. This is where people go to create chaos and destruction and maybe a little bit of happiness.
Little bit of happiness.
Little bit. Gotta have a little bit.
Little bit.
Just a taste.
Who told me his hair was going to be on the show?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's got better hair than you too. He's got better hair than you too.
I had the best until he showed up. So.
Well, I am normally, so I'm a very big, I come from the AKA Mike B school of streaming and stuff, always wearing a collar, even if it's a zip up. But today I am rocking the Pittsburgh Knights esports jersey. We're going to talk a little bit about them later. I got to have a black and gold team that actually wins, so we'll talk about them instead of the Steelers because that was just horrendous. But I got to tell you a little story before we start. So on the back, right, here we go. Hold on, let me turn around. You got to get the Magic Man printed on there. So it came yesterday, and I showed my daughter it. She was sitting in the living room. She's 13. And she said, "Who are they?" And I said, "Oh, it's the Pittsburgh Knights, the esports team. They just won the Smite 2021 championships. They do 7 different games, including Rocket League." And how sweet, right? She turns around and goes, "Oh, so you're on their team now?" And I was like, yeah, they totally needed a Gold 3, Plat 1 Rocket League player. They were like, what do we need to fill out our roster? And so
we're trying to tank so we get a good draft pick next year.
So they hit me up. They were like, yeah, let's get Magic Man. I was like, no, it was very sweet of you to think that, but no, I just ordered the thing. So anyway, sporting the jersey, we'll talk about them a little bit later. It's actually a really comfortable jersey. I had to put sleeves on underneath it, though, because it's January in freaking Pittsburgh. So let's get started sliding over with the news. All right, what do we got here? Let's start with a few updates and some new content that's coming to different games. Now, some of this may have come out actually today. One of them we're going to talk about releases today. Some of them are going to be in the next week or so here. We're talking about the bigger titles. We did a rundown last week or the week before of a lot of little titles that are going to have updates over the next 4 to 5 weeks. But, Jason, Guild Wars 2 is getting its update next week and bringing a lot of little things to it. It seems like a bigger update, but not doesn't seem to be a big content piece to me. And maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me, being the Guild Wars 2 guy here. But it does seem like there's a lot of little content pieces spread out across here.
Yeah, they're calling it the finale to the Icebrood Saga, which is their latest living story chapter, the saga arc, whatever. And they're splitting it up into 4 different parts. We had a little roadmap and a calendar on it. When the first one came out, this is the second one, and the next one comes out in March. One after that comes out in May, and hopefully expansion afterwards. But yeah, this is sort of expanding upon the new stuff they added in the last one, the Dragon Response missions, which are little like instance things you do all throughout Tyria. You can deploy different factions to do different things for you. Overall, it's probably, you're all right. I think it is on the smaller side, not super duper fantabulous excited. It doesn't have a new map or, crazy new mechanics or anything like that. So I think this is what we're going to see, not only for this one, but for those next two as they ramp up to the expansion coming up later this year.
Yeah, so this one actually goes live in 4 days on the 19th. And then the next chapter happens in March. And then there should be one more chapter probably around May-ish. And then, boom,
I think I just said that.
It's expansion time. Yeah, I was just given the actual months. That's all.
I said those too.
Oh, I didn't. I wasn't listening.
Never listen to me. Usually a good idea.
Now, you actually, you've lately been dabbling in Guild Wars 2. You did your stream last Wednesday was Guild Wars 2. Having been I guess I would call you a lapsed Guild Wars 2 player recently, has the Icebrood Saga kind of given you reasons to play Guild Wars 2 lately, getting ready for the expansion? Are you somebody that's hyped for the expansion?
It would be getting me ready for the expansion if I had played it yet, but I made a pledge that I was going to finish getting my Sky Scale, which came out in the last saga, and that just got one step after another, after another, after another, after another, and I'm just like, this is the final one, right? This is the last thing I have to do, and it's like, no, go do this crap again, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll finish that. Now I've got it, right, and we're done. No, you have to do this crap now. It's like, oh my God, they made that take forever, and I'm still working on that. So I haven't even started Icebrood Saga stuff yet. So
Guild Wars 2 is a game that I absolutely love watching you play and looking at your characters, but I'm I really don't feel like getting another character there again to be able to look that cool as some of your characters do. You got Big Chongus. He's some of them are looking really, really awesome.
I mean, it's really easy to look cool in Guild Wars 2. Yeah. Just whip out your credit card.
Right. Wilfredo, were you ever deep into Guild Wars 2? Let's kind of go back a little bit for you, since you weren't here when it launched and when the last 2 expansions launched. You weren't doing the casts yet. Were you ever deep into Guild Wars 2? Is it something you've played? Something you just kind of dabbled in? You avoided it? What's your status with the game as we head into another expansion?
I have a maxed out character, Thief, that I played when the game first launched.
Right.
And I think I mentioned this on a cast once because I was angry about it. It was an A-bomb to myself because I had just maxed out my Thief, and then the expansion, Heart of Thorns, came out, and they were giving booster casts.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you serious? I just maxed this character. So now I'm playing through, trying to catch up with everything that's been going on. It's been a while. I just got back into it maybe a week ago.
Nice.
Created a Guardian. I'm not using my my booster yet. I'm saving that because I don't want for the new expansion to come out. And they're like,
or you could just do what I do: boost them and leave them in Silver Wastes?
Silver Waste.
Yeah, just leave them in there. Just don't ever take them out. And if you don't like them, you just nuke them and boost another one. If you never leave Silver Wastes, you're fine.
Dude, if you play any amount of time, you're going to get 8,000 level 80 boosts, so don't worry about it.
That's true. That's very true. But yeah.
Or at least I get to level 60 and get Tome to go the rest of the way, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to the expansion in general. But I do ask, I don't know what they're going to put in there, but if you're going to give anything, I want my monk class that they took out of Guild Wars 1, bring it over to Guild Wars 2, and make it a brawler type. Enough said.
I don't think you're ever going to see a new class in Guild Wars 2. I think the time has come and gone for that. If that was something that was on the docket, I think we would have seen that in some prior expansions. I don't...
Yeah, they did add one in Heart of Thorns.
Yeah, you're right. But that was, 4 years ago now?
So, I mean, maybe
5 years?
A new class.
Something
Definitely
like
not a new race. No, you're never going to play a Tengu. Stop trying for it.
Say never.
Speaking of expansions, Grinding Gear Games getting ready for theirs. Well, they got ready. That launched today, didn't it, Jason?
Technically, in 45 minutes.
Yeah,
they say it's gonna go
as we're talking here.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Now, this was the expansion that was delayed out of December due to Cyberpunk, which I disagreed with at the time. I thought it was a silly decision. We'll have to see how it plays out. Maybe it works for them. Maybe it doesn't. It didn't work for Cyberpunk, so it was a rough December for Cyberpunk. But we've had the usual splash of PR everywhere. We have had the Q&A. We've had like press releases every other day that are just pointing to new dev blogs and a design manifesto. And Jason, what can we players expect logging in today? Oh, Atlas changes. There's always Atlas changes. Like
changes to the Atlas.
Every time there's an update, there's an Atlas change.
Like once a year. That's how Chris Wilson described to me. About once a year they do the mess with the Atlas expansion or whatever. So this one is called Echoes of the Atlas. And the big thing they're going to have is they have a new boss, a new end boss called the Maven, and she wants to see you fight before she'll challenge you personally. So she sends you into fights against multiple bosses at once, starting with
that seems fair. Seems fair.
Yeah, starting with 2 and going up to I think like 10 or something eventually. It's like I once I got past the main, all the 10 acts of the game, I went to the Atlas and just got absolutely rolled by the first boss I ran into. But there are people out there who are going to fight. Oh yeah, 10 bosses. Yeah, no problem. We'll do that. What kind of crack do you people use?
Yeah, there's quite a few changes. They're making changes to the Ascendancy class too, and this one got its own post about some of the changes and why they wanted to address it. So there is a lot going on. You still think PoE2 this year as we go?
I do.
You do?
I do. It's still my prediction.
Wilfredo shaking his head. Wilfredo, that was a prediction for last week, so let's get you to chime in on that.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. The only reason why is because right now, Grinding Gear seems to be on a pretty decent roll. With this, I think that game, PoE2, just isn't ready yet. And after watching what happened to Cyberpunk, they're probably going to be like, let's make sure this is right. We don't want that to happen.
I'm pretty sure, like it's supposed to launch in like 45 minutes. I'm pretty sure it'll be delayed. There'll be extended maintenance or whatever. There usually is. Like every time I'm watching Path of Exile, it normally involves us having a piece ready to go in the background that we just wait and wait and wait for before we hit publish because we're waiting for it to actually go live, because usually the piece says something like, it's live now, and if it's not, we get your...
Literally, that's in the system, and I'm just ready to go as soon as I...
Yeah. Oh, I sent you the presser this morning, by the way. I was pretty sure you didn't need it, but just in case.
Honestly, actually, they didn't send it to me, which is weird, so whatever.
Oh, cool. Well, you've got a ton of news. If you need to catch up on it, mmobomb.com, we've got a piece that links to basically everything. The live stream, the follow-up blog post on Ascendancy class changes, the design manifesto that they are further explaining reasoning behind changes and balance and things that are going on. And then, of course, we will have an additional piece go live whenever the hell the expansion goes live, sometime today. But tons of changes for you Path of Exile geeks out there. This one's not an update. This is actually a new game, as simplistic as it may be. If you like the community television show, The Human Beings, that's the name of the group, as a volunteer project, have created 6 seasons and a game. And of course, again, if you're a fan of the show, it's a paintball game. Now, you won't see any licensed characters or anything like that. This is a passion project for community fans. But there are a ton of nods to the show, like the foosball table there. I mean, there's a ton of things in the background for this. It is free to play. It is on Steam. Don't expect too much. Again, it's like, Jason Wilfredo and I deciding, hey, let's make a game based on The Office because we like The Office. But that's not to say that it's overly simplistic. It's an 8v8 map with paintballing or paintball games. So I guess if you like Splatoon, Wilfredo, and you're a fan of Community, then damn, this probably hits the spot for you.
Yeah, no, this checks off everything on your bucket list. However, I'm not a fan of Splatoon. And I actually enjoy Community. But
there are a ton of meta references in the game.
I bet there are. I want to give this a shot, just so I can say, I've taken some time to play it. I am a little leery about the gameplay, just a little bit, but it looks like it's going to be really interesting. I have a feeling for the launch and for everybody playing it, the very first thing they're going to do, they're going to say, screw shooting one another. let's go find every Easter egg in this map.
I love
And then
Jason.
there's going to be a Reddit post for that.
Jason, one of the quotes says it's the killer app that VR needed and attributes it to GameSpot. And then below it, in parentheses, says not actually VR compatible. You got to appreciate having some fun with it. I mean, I don't know if it's a sit down and play it all the time. It probably is not, even for hardcore community fans. But you know, I could definitely see an MMO bomb community stream in the future where we take 1 or 2 hours and just as many hosts from the channel and viewers as we can get to fill out 8v8, having a little bit of fun. And I honestly think that's what the creators meant for it, Jason.
Yeah, I guess.
Having never joke.
Having never watched Community and not liking that or The Office, I had no idea this was related to that at all until you brought it up a minute ago. This is just sort of seriously. I don't know why I would, because it's not mentioned there or anything, and it's a thing where clearly this is a joke that I'm just not in on and don't have any interest in. So
where's my bell?
Good for them, but all right.
Where's my bell? Shame on you.
Shame
you
on
don't like the
you.
Office. You don't like Shame.
I actively dislike The Office, actually.
Do you really?
Having
Why?
actually watched some episodes because I watched episodes of it.
That's terrible.
Wait,
that
you
made
know
me
what?
dislike
If they
American
were
or
in
UK?
season 1, I can understand. But season 1's
have
only
no
like
idea what
6
season it
episodes, so.
No, I mean it was probably about 6 or 7 episodes that I watched, and it was whatever. When I was visiting my nephew last year, I put some of it on. I was like, well, I've heard about it, never actually watched it. And I watched it, and I was like, this is stupid.
Oh my god, I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
No,
Was it the American version or UK? Because there is a
the
difference.
American.
Oh,
This one was on Netflix.
oh no.
That's not on Netflix anymore. Now you have to have Peacock.
Thank God.
Peacock.
There's a reason why your wall is blank.
Because I don't want to put random crap on it. That's why.
All right, now we're going to move to our next segment, which is all about crazy shooter game news. Now, not crazy shooter as in an individual being a crazy shooter. This is shooter game crazy news.
Thank God.
Yeah, just to
Enough of that.
just to clarify exactly what that subheading means there. So first off, I literally have no idea what the hell to do with this. We have got Alliance of Valiant Arms coming back. And if you're wondering what I mean by coming back, I mean that it's coming back for the 3rd frickin' time. And why did my B-roll not change? Whatever. That is not... There we go. That's AVA.
That's AVA.
Yeah. So AVA
There
shut
you go.
down in 2018, then came back just briefly under a different modified name in 2019. Then it was shut down again. Now it's making its return back to a new owner, NeoWiz, and it's going to be coming back in March. So if you were a fan of AVA, which, I mean, it shut down twice. How many of you are there? You're going to get another shot at playing this. You're going to get another shot. The only thing Box says, the only thing I remember about AVA was the achievement for the Team Fortress 2 spy knife. I don't know. Yeah, NeoWiz of Bless Online fame. Yeah, that's them. And DJ Max fame. Yeah. Oh, I might have to play that on my stream tonight. Ready check. It's been a while. Anyway, it's coming back. Jason, I have no idea why. I have no idea why. I mean, this has gone through 3 different publishers, e.g. Area Games and Moss Entertainment, shut down in 2018. The devs tried to bring it back in 2019, calling it, Alliance of Valiant Arms Dog Tag. That lasted less than a month here and never made it out of open beta. It lasted a little longer in like Taiwan and China, where they got a few more months out of it. When it comes back, we're getting 3 different classes, 30 maps, and 6 mods. The mods allow players to kind of create their own missions for themselves and their friends. While that's all well and good and new additions, I kind of feel like this game had its shot already a couple of times.
I guess it's probably cheaper than making your own game. This is what NeoWiz is thinking. let's just grab whatever's out there, pay whatever, a couple $1,000 or whatever, and slap it out there and see if we make some money off it. That's probably all there is to it. I wouldn't expect like great support, or there's probably gonna be hackers galore. I doubt they're gonna devote any time to security or whatever. So play at your own risk, I guess.
Yeah, Wilfredo, to me, this has always been kind of, and granted, I didn't sink a ton of time into it or anything, but this has always been kind of like the just like another brown scale, a color scale shooter clone game in the vein of a Call of Duty Warzone, a Call of Duty. Like, let's put everybody in brown and gray fatigues and put a brown tint over the camera, and it looks like even the trailer feels lazy to me. Like when you watch this trailer, they use the reflection in the visor gimmick 2 different times in here. There's one where the fire is coming. By the way, that character has no facial reaction to about to being, totally covered in fire and flame. He's
just gonna take it.
Yeah, he has no facial reaction to it at all. And then when he's looking up in the sky, you can see parachuters coming down in the visor. And again, he has no reaction to the fact that 5 soldiers are landing on him. It just feels lazy in the trailer. I can't imagine the game itself lasting very long for a third time.
Look, when they came out with that second iteration dog tag, they should have called it AVA toe tag, because this thing is dead.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Hey-oh.
Like, this is bad. It's really awful. There's this whole thing of, like, beating a dead horse. There is no horse left. This is just sludge. Stop doing this. Nobody wanted it before. They didn't want it the second time. Why would you want it a third? Like, you're not going to make much money off of it, at the very least. Maybe a couple bucks to recoup
I don't know.
some of your losses. This is pointless.
I gotta start the trailer once again here, because I can't get over the fact that he's about to be engulfed in flame, and there isn't even a minor facial reaction. He's just like, oh, well.
Facial expressions cost money to program.
Yeah, he's just like...
They couldn't afford that.
Not to mention, he's probably dead inside.
He's got no soul. It's coming up, but
I've seen shit, man. I've seen shit.
It's just kind of like, oh, Mondays, am I right? Just like, and there he goes. And there he goes.
There he goes.
Oh, all right. I mean, if you want to play it, March. There you go. I won't be playing it. What else do we got from the world of shooter games? Riot and Bungie, competitors in the shooter game space, if you consider Valorant and Destiny 2 to really be competitors. Probably not directly, but, there's only so much time to play shooters, so they're a little bit competitive. They're actually teaming up, and they're teaming up for a very, very specific cause, huh, Jason?
Yeah, they are suing the maker of a cheat program who makes cheats for both of their games. It's called Gator Cheats, which is the name of the company that makes it. And they allege that the company has made, quote, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars from cheats for Valorant or in Destiny 2. And includes software like an aimbot, as well as cheats to show enemy health and equipment. This is coming from Polygon. So
now,
the damages to the games may amount in millions of dollars in harm.
Yeah, okay. We'll get to that in a second. The first thing I want to point out is, if you ever needed further proof that a cease and desist is just a meaningless piece of paper, Gator Cheats has already received a cease and desist on this topic from Bungie, and they kind of responded by saying, hey, okay, fine, we won't sell it anymore, but we're still going to provide support to our customers that own it. But Bungie says they're pretty sure that this is still being sold. So first off, Wilfredo, let me get your opinion on here. Obviously, Bungie and Valorant, Riot Games, both have anti-cheat rules. They have anti-cheat measures put into their game. Riot famously, when they were launching their personal anti-cheat stuff, said, hey, we want people to try and break it, and if you can break it, we'll pay you. And there were concerns with privacy with that one when it initially launched. So does the lawsuit have merit? Like, can Bungie and Riot actually sue for damages for a cheat software that was able to bypass any of their security measures? And I know none of us are lawyers. This is going to be a personal opinion thing, just to be clear for viewers.
On behalf of Riot, they kind of shot themselves in the foot by saying, we want you to try and break this. So I think when it comes to the precedent is you put it out there. We want you to try and break this. Somebody broke it. And now you kind of have to live with the consequences.
Whole milk in chat says the irony. Break it and we'll pay you. You've broken it. Now we're going to sue.
That's really good whole milk. Credit where credit is due.
Right. So, like, I get it, Jason. They're upset, and somebody's making money off of a program that bypasses some stuff that, okay, fine. I get the reason for the lawsuit, but where my brain kind of maybe goes, is the alleging millions in damages. That is got to be a tough sell to prove that the cheat software is damaging your game financially. I guess what the argument would come down to: you cheating, giving people an advantage, discourages other players from wanting to play my product. But you have to prove that those players were willing to be spending money anyway. I mean, it's a bit of a tough sell, and you have to be able to prove damages in court. You just can't allege damages.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how easy that is to prove from a legal standpoint, but it's something we've always heard about, whether it's cheats, whether it's abusive language in games. One of the reasons you're supposed to stop people from being away, people who would be decent members of the community, so you lose their business and so on. It's the reason you have all that community moderation and so forth. So I think that is true. I think that is a case that it does hurt you. It does cause you to lose players. Whether you can legally prove that it's worth, $8.7 million or whatever, yep. I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is behind that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the hard part of this, Wilfredo. That's why, like, in the United States, I can't sue on behalf of Wilfredo for damages because I wasn't the damaged party. All right, so Wilfredo has to sue because he was the one that was damaged, but then Wilfredo has to prove that he was damaged. You can't just say, I want $150 million. You could try, but you're going to get it thrown out of court at worst, or at best have that reduced to a very, very small number because you could only prove $20,000 in hospital bills for whatever. You have to be able to prove this, and that's where I think the tough sell comes in.
Yeah, there are so many layers to this that there's no way that this is actually going to work out for either party except for the creator of Gator Cheese, where it's like, okay, you have to stop making this. All right, what else? That's it.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt, Jason, you're absolutely right. It causes players to leave. But you have to prove that it costs players to leave and that it cost paying players to leave. And I think you have a hard time going in saying, one, how many players have you lost as a result of this? That's a hard number to arrive at. And then two, when you start talking about numbers, then you're starting to assign like what average spend per player type metrics, and courts don't really like those type of aggregate metrics. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. I kind of feel like it's one of those suits, big bully suits is what I call them, right? Where these two huge companies drop a multi-million-dollar lawsuit on somebody that obviously, is judgment proof in this situation. I'm sure they do not have the millions of dollars to pay this. Maybe they do. Maybe they're in a better spot than I am, but most people don't. It seems to me like a bully suit. We want this to stop, so we're going to put some legal might behind it, even if we're never going to reclaim millions out of the deal. I think that's probably more the play here. I don't know. In other shooter news, Wilfredo, have you ever played Warface? This game, by the way, is a running joke in MMO Bomb chat behind the scenes. Not the game itself. None of us are intimately familiar with it. But the name of the game, Warface, just being probably one of the dumber free-to-play titles that we cover, as in the title itself, not the game itself. The game itself, we're going with another let's all dress in brown and go shoot things, a military shooter. But have you ever played this?
I gave it a shot.
Ah!
But the only reason why is because as soon as I heard the name, I was like, oh, man. And I immediately thought of the late, great Arlie Ermy and said, let me see your Warface. So
that's a good reference.
Yeah. So yeah, I gave it a chance, and it was just bland. It's just another brown military shooter.
Well,
Can we change the record, please?
this is absolutely like the most stunning post I've seen for a shooter game, because the stuff in this post, which by the way was just put up 3 days ago, it's not like we found an old post on this or something. These are things that you think would have been taken care of, probably a little earlier in the game's development cycle. Keep in mind that this released in 2012. Warface released in 2012. And we got a dev blog regarding damage in the game a few days ago, explaining certain things like why you might be confused as a player by the enemy didn't shoot but killed you, or you got killed while being behind a wall, or you made a shot but it didn't get registered, or sometimes damage doesn't really get registered, or dealing damage to a lagging player, how shotgun damage works in the game, how the kill cam functions in the game. This game came out, let me remind you, in 2012. Now, some of these are issues in the game. It's architecture, it's animations, things like that. And the post does go through and point those particular ones out. But some of them, literally the shotgun, is them explaining to people how the shotgun works, because apparently players had a misconception about how shotgun damage worked in the game. They came out in 2012, Jason. I would never have expected to see a post like this on a game that is 9 years old first, but also is out of early access or beta. I mean, these are things you address during that phase, not wait 9 years, right?
I think, first of all, that we've got a new title for stupidest free-to-play game, and it's 6 seasons in a game. But anyway.
Well, technically, that's like a fan project. That's not
Whatever.
really like free-to-play game. Come on.
Anyway. But yeah.
And even that's a reference, by the way.
If you say so. Anyway. These things are the sort of thing that you figure would have been dealt with a long time ago, or at least would have had a blog to deal with them. So you wonder. First of all, keep in mind too that Warface is really huge.
It is.
Like, as much as we make fun of it, it is like my.game's like #1 title in a landslide.
And has its fair share of bots.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Which makes me wonder how much some of this is. Yeah, 90% of the time it is. You see the chart where, if I got destroyed by someone, what happened? 99% of the time you're a bad player. 1% they were cheating or something like that, which makes you wonder too how much of this is trying to mollify players if there are a lot of bots in there, and if they are getting shot from behind a wall illegally, to be like, no, it's the real game mechanic. It's just a latency. Have you ever heard of latency, Mike? This is like when you're playing a video game, like a shooter, and the timing for something on the server that they have is different from the timing on your computer, so it looks a little different. I just want to let you know this happens. This just happened. That's basically the sort of stuff they had to explain. Like, these are common to a lot of shooters. It's no problem at all. And it's like, on the one hand, I get that you are going to always run into people who don't know what that sort of thing is like, and you kind of need to explain it every now and then. But it just seems weird to I've hardly ever seen like an actual formal dev blog explaining that sort of thing.
Yeah, here you go, Wilfredo. Like, here's kill cam, right? To begin with, let's explain how the kill camera works 9 years after release. When you're killed, your angle of field of view, starts moving towards the killer. This camera movement takes certain time. For example, if you are killed in the back, the camera needs to rotate 180 degrees. During this time, the killer also moves, and when your camera reaches him or her to show the moment of death, the opponent is already located in a different place. Thus, sometimes it can seem that the killer was behind the wall. In fact, the rival was not there, but while the kill camera was moving, they shifted to another point. Status. We would not like to change the speed of the camera movement because it can cause inconvenience. We could develop a mechanic that will show only your character without the enemy, but in this case, it can greatly affect the gameplay because it will be impossible to provide information about the enemy. We would not like to follow this path, so we will further study the matter. Hey, Wilfredo's like shocked that this is something I am reading out loud about a very well-established, highly played shooter game that came out 9 years ago. I got an easy fix for you, Wilfredo. What do you think? Just have the camera always focus on the enemy in the kill cam, even if it is looking out the back of the character's head. You understand where the shot came from because you got killed and saw that marker. Why have the camera rotation at all? Anyway, whatever. 9 years ago, that is the post, Wilfredo. And I'm going to read one more to you, but I want your reaction on that one besides this shocked dismay you have on your face.
Why is this even a thing? If this is such an issue, then take out the kill cam at the very least. But this shouldn't be an issue 9 years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Who's there? Hello? Is anybody working at the development team? This shouldn't be a post.
This one's my favorite, Jason, and it was your favorite too. It was the one that we immediately zeroed in on when we were looking at covering this. The enemy did not shoot but made a kill. You could have found yourself in situations when the enemy killed you, although there was no shooting animation. You did not understand how this could have happened, so you may well think that no damage was dealt to the enemy. In fact, the shot was missing only from the graphical point of view. The animation was lacking. In other words, it was out of sync with the visual effect. It is a game bug that used to occur due to the work of the network code. Status: the bug has been fixed, so this is unlikely to be encountered now. However, if you notice something similar, please report it to our technical support.
And you could have found yourself in a situation where the enemy killed you, although there was no shooting animation. And you might ask yourself, how did I get here?
How did I get here? Oh my god.
On the bright side, since you have died in this situation, it was once in a lifetime.
In social networks and on the forum, we have seen reports that damage dealt with a shotgun does not get registered. We would like to clear up that situation. The shotgun is a unique and hard to predict weapon. No, it's not. It isn't.
It's a point-and-click interface, man.
The pellet spread when firing is now random, so there is a chance that you will have 95% of your scope aimed at a character, shoot, but all the pellets will hit the remaining 5%, and the enemy will not die.
How does a shotgun work like that? It's like you got this circle here, you're aiming right down the middle of it, and all the shots go here. It's like, what?
Thus, you may conclude that the damage did not get registered. Although this happened due to the shotgun shooting mechanics, which at the moment interferes with the gameplay status, we don't want to improve it via changing the amount of blood because damage is more informatively displayed with the help of a damage indicator. We plan to make the shotgun pellet spread more predictable. We're developing a system that will be based on the following rule. The more accurately you aim at the enemy, the greater the probability of killing him.
I gotta say this. How is it that AVA has better shotgun mechanics than Warface?
Oh, that has got to be the best sentence ever. I totally missed that on my first read. This is groundbreaking, guys, for a shooter game. This is absolutely groundbreaking. We are developing a system that will be based on the following rule. The more accurately you aim at the enemy, the greater the probability of killing him or her. Right now, Activision is going, shit, why didn't we think of that? For example, if a medic aims 80% of the crosshair at the enemy and shoots, 80% of the pellets will hit the target, which significantly increases the chance of killing. It's worth noting that a number of algorithms have recently been reworked, and now the response of the damage indicator when firing shotguns has accelerated. Previously, when hitting an enemy with a shotgun, damage was registered separately for each pellet, so in some cases the processing time increased and there could be delays in the damage cross-display. Oh! My god, the more accurately you aim at a shooter, the more likely you are to kill your target, gentlemen. That's revolutionary.
If you aimed up in the air, you'd shoot the person that's below you.
That is such... Oh my god. I see Activision. We're going to do that in the next Call of Duty. We're going to do that. All right, moving on. That's enough. Warface.
Let's move on.
Let's talk about just some big things. These are smaller news, but big items in those news pieces. Pearl Abyss has made some big changes to Shadow Arena. You may remember Shadow Arena from my first look. That was the Battle Royale game based on and using characters from the Black Desert Online MMORPG. Yeah, they've decided that hasn't really been going well. At least the focus on Battle Royale. And, I hesitate to name other games. I'm going to see if one of my other co-hosts maybe names a game that this brings to mind, because they're bringing a huge change and removing the Battle Royale as the competitive, game mode. The game until this point. Now, you can still do the Battle Royale. It's in the private custom matches, casual customs, so you can do it there, but you can't queue up for it and just play it as you have been able to all the way. Now, the game is shifting to a 3v3 strategy combat game. That's a pretty big shift, Wilfredo. Pretty big shift.
No, if there are lots of bottles of alcohol involved, or something, but this isn't just a big shift. This is completely game changing. Sounds like something we talked about before. I can't remember. Anywho, yeah, no, this is bad. This, but it could be good.
They're saying that it is done because this is what the players of the game want. They have made it expressly clear that the Battle Royale wasn't working for them. This mode was working for them, so put the focus on that mode for your players, Jason. We've heard this before, I think.
You're alluding to something, and I'm just not getting it. I'm just not.
How about a game where we have a couple of modes, but our players really only like one of those modes, so we remove everything but that mode, and focus on making that mode better, and then we go back into closed beta.
Oh, Crucible. Okay. I was also thinking of H1Z1 too for the moment.
That's fair. That's fair. Chat got it. Like Chat was with me.
Okay, yeah, Crucible. But I mean, Crucible at least had some hype when it came out. I don't know.
Damn, that's harsh.
I'm looking at the Steam charts for Shadow Arena. They were down to like averaging about 61 players over the last month.
Yeah.
Which at least or I should also say Shadow Arena has actually lasted like 8 months, 9 months. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a longer life than Crucible. This was the Battle Royale I actually kind of liked. There were things I really didn't like about it, and we won't rehash the first look here. You can go watch that. But there were aspects of it when I played it in open beta that I was like, hey, you know what? This is kind of different. I kind of like this. I don't know. To me now, this just feels more MOBA-ish without having to deal with lanes now. And so it's kind of totally left my wheelhouse and just instead of just partially leaving my wheelhouse. But I can see, Wilfredo, an audience that maybe this brings in that looks for that 2v2, this one's 3v3, but looks for that team-based competition and is so sick of battle royales that this might be able to grab a few of those, right?
You go in 3v3, so now you've got squatting up. So, and obviously they're going to be different classes, if I'm correct. There's the brawler. There's I forget the second one, and then there's support. But now that there's 3 different classes, now you can really balance out your squad. You can run all brawlers and just get to work, and you'll probably die. But this will create a whole new set of tactics and strategy for this type of game, which I think will begin to introduce people into the BDO universe, which might bring them into the BDO itself. So
and their whole, if you look at their YouTube, their whole competitive side of the business was all the 3v3 stuff. So it makes sense, Jason, but it is a huge departure from what the game was, and that does come with pissing off or turning away some people that liked what that was. Granted, that was a battle royale, so I think we're all sick of those by now, but we'll have to see how it pans out for them.
I don't think it goes anywhere. I mean, I think, as you said, if they already have 3v3 fights in Black Desert, why do you play this? Other than it's free, which Black Desert practically is most of the time. So
good call.
I just don't think this, even like I said, it's got like 100 people playing right now. It's great. You get 100 people, or maybe double. You get 200 people into Black Desert. That's not going to move a needle anywhere. No. So
Valorant had a really, really good 2020, Jason, when it comes to Twitch viewership, it appears.
Yeah, we had a report by a couple of organizations, Stream Elements, mostly a data analyst platform, Arsenal.gg. They did a straight of the stream report where they listed a lot of different things, and the top one, or at least my top takeaway, was how good Valorant did in terms of viewership, netting, what was the number? 737 million hours viewed throughout the year. Number 2 was Fall Guys at 139 million. So that's like, not even close, not even in the same ballpark.
Now, that doesn't mean, guys, don't misunderstand. We're not saying that it was the most viewed, but we're talking about in terms of the most viewed new IP.
New IP, yeah, I should have brought that up, yeah. In terms of new games, Valorant was viewed much more than anything else.
Wilfredo, are you surprised?
Really? Think about all the CSGO fans out there that were looking for something new. That's what a lot of people compare Valorant to. It's like they say it's CSGO with abilities. And that doesn't surprise me because this was kind of one of those sleeper hits that just popped up out of nowhere. And it's been doing really well. I mean, one of my favorite band, Trivium, their vocalist, plays this game quite often on Twitch. So I can see how this is going to start to bring in a lot of people when you have fairly big names backing the game.
Now, Mystics has already said it in chat, and it is in our article, that there is a small consideration you should take in this number. And I'll read directly, Jason, from your piece just to make sure we get that.
Please read from my piece. People know it's in there.
In April, Riot Games tied Valorant beta access to Twitch viewership, if you remember that. That initial seeding might have helped the game become a huge success among viewers, racking up 737 million hours viewed throughout the year, et cetera, et cetera. So there was that period where, Jason, you were one of them, that you just had streams on, logging hours, just trying to get a key so that you could do a first look, because they weren't even giving them out to press. You had to go and get them that way. So that's definitely a consideration. But all in all, I think even with that consideration, it's a very impressive number for a title that, arguably when it came out, you could look at and go, this space is so crowded. It doesn't matter that you say Riot games on you. But we've had Overwatch people jump ship on this one, Wilfredo, and pro players jump over to Valorant.
Makes me sad.
It's very impressive because it just shows that this is something that people probably wanted and they haven't been getting because Overwatch is overplayed.
We'll see. We'll have to see what it does. We'll have to see what it does this year, Jason.
I'm about to say, at the moment, Valorant is like the number 6 game on Twitch, so it's still holding steady.
Yeah.
Still doing pretty well.
We'll have to see how it does throughout the year. By the way, didn't they just launch a new season?
Yep.
So you got that if you're a Valorant fan. New season, new stuff. Finally, in other big news, the Pittsburgh Knights were crowned world champs at the Smite World Championships for the second time. Okay, yeah, it's technically for the second time, but they weren't named the Pittsburgh Knights yet when they did it last time. They had just pieced together their organization from some teams that had fallen apart. Anyway, for the second time, this team, now the Pittsburgh Knights, walked away with the Smite World Championships from the hi-rez Expo. They walked away with $400,000 out of the $600,000 prize pool. And the other top teams were Ghost Gaming, Radiance Renegade, Sanguine Esports, Space Station Gaming. They all had a chance at the prize. And yeah, the Knights went all 5, had to win it in a game 5, 3-2, sporting the jersey. Pew, 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 pew. It's got magicman on the back. My daughter thinks I'm a pro Rocket League player. They do have a Rocket League team, so I'm going to be watching that. And if you are wondering why, let's slide over and do the weekly bombs. I'm going to give my A-bomb to the Steelers. Do I really have to say more? The Pittsburgh Steelers bound and done in the NFL playoffs this season after winning double-digit games during the season, at one point being 11-0. Now, fair is fair. It was the weakest 11-0 I've ever seen from any team, with a lot of good deflections and good defensive stands here and there to keep it that way. But yeah, the Cleveland Browns came into town and
perennial powerhouse Cleveland Browns.
yeah, perennial powerhouse Cleveland Browns, who haven't made the playoffs in over 20 years, come into town, and good luck to them. I think this weekend's going to be really hard for them. So an A-bomb to my Steelers. It was just a horrible game to watch, and so now I'm a Pittsburgh Knights fan. Jason.
Your son could have a stream now. Playoff teams older than me,
right?
Basically, when Cleveland last made the playoffs,
right?
I'm going to give a dub bomb to you, Mike.
Oh, wait, what? Hold on, I got to get me on the camera here.
Okay, all right.
I don't think I've ever received a dub bomb from Mr. Winter. I've received plenty of A bombs from Mr. Winter.
It was like every other day I give you those. But no, I give a dub bomb to your psychic powers.
Oh yeah, what?
As we were talking about in chat, because you made the schedule last week. You said I was going to be on this week. Q was going to have it off, and then like 3 days ago, Q broke a tooth.
Yeah.
And she said to the chat today, it's a good thing I'm not on the stream today because I really couldn't talk very well. And it's like, well, Mike knew. He knew.
I knew
you were going to break the tooth, which unfortunately, if I'm off the stream for the next 2 weeks,
yeah, I'd like
kind of
bubble wrap.
Is going to happen to
Just
me?
wear a lot of bubble wrap. That's all I got to say.
Mondays,
am I right? Go ahead, Wilfredo.
I'm going to give an A-bomb to you. Hold on. I've got something in my eye. Hold on.
Oh no. Oh, no.
So last year I had my little shovel. This year I've got my big old bat. So this A-bomb going to bludgeon the life out of the cheaters that are playing games. You're not playing competitive games. You're stacking the deck. Stop it. You have no skill. Work, earn, go. Stop cheating.
Is that what you used to kill Larry?
No. Actually, Larry.
Oh, yeah. How is Larry?
Larry left. He got his own apartment.
Okay.
Well, they grow up so fast, don't they?
They do. They really do. He does stay in contact, though.
They grow up so fast. All right. Viewer bombs and questions from the viewers. Volvo X Aureus says, dub bomb for AGDQ 2021. Great show, great cause. I hope we will go to the normal format soon. I miss the crowd. There was some good stuff at GDQ. I like we talked about it on Gaming Gumbo, or on Snowbound this week on Ready Check when we were talking about the Diablo 3 person run world record. That was pretty awesome. Go ahead, Jason.
Ray0101 asks, was Jason a paralegal in his game journo days? No, I am not a lawyer. I do not even play one on TV.
Play one on TV. Old Glory in chat says dub bomb for Jason's beautiful hair. Ninja Panda says, I'm giving a dub bomb to this week for finally having snow and for the surprise Indiana Jones game. Yeah, Jason, you and I will obviously be discussing that Saturday night on Gaming Gumbo. Guardian says, dub bomb to Path of Exile. Looking forward to playing the new league. A bomb to the queue for Path of Exile. 55,000 people are ahead of you. Oof. Go ahead, Wilfredo.
Japan's Freak. A-bomb to Jason Winter shitting on VR. I, for one, love VR and hope that it will become just like Sword Art Online. That's an anime for the uncultured. A full dive VR experience. That's what I meant.
Yeah, sure. In the year like 2406, maybe.
Hey! I'm a big SAO fan, and I kind of want that, but I don't want the bad things that happen in that anime to happen.
Look, Japan's Freak talking about Sword Art Online. It's an anime for the uncultured. Dude, I watched holodecks on Star Trek 30-something years ago. Don't give me your, this is a new thing if you've never seen it, Mr.
For those of you that don't know, Jason's dude there is the old man equivalent of bruh. Stick says, a little delayed, but my A-bomb goes to Capcom for going borderline mid-2010s Nintendo with its new content creator rules. Yeah, that was pretty... Yeah, don't use anything Mega Man in your emotes or anything like that. Breckner Catalin says, oh, wow, City of Steam. Yeah, I remember that. I played that for a while. Didn't it change its name to, like, Arcadium or something of the sorts? I think it did. I didn't remember that until I read that comment, Breckner, but I think it did. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Jason.
Zhao says, no Project L this year, in my opinion. Honestly, I barely think it is either. I just wanted to put one crazy thing up there just in case.
You just needed a third game for that section.
In case I could be a genius and if it actually happens.
Go ahead, Wilfredo.
Ken says DNF Duel gives off a Guilty Gear vibe. Hopefully, it's just as good. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I was thinking about you when we were talking about that last week, that you would probably be interested in Project BBQ and DNF Duel.
Yeah, it looks pretty dope.
Windshark says, "Da-bomb to my Core Air. Ordered a solid state drive yesterday. And it came today. Good." C-Swag says, "Da-bomb to the cast for keeping me awake and entertained while I drive." Don't watch, just listen, C-Swag. Just listen.
I mean, unless you're looking at my fancy hair.
Question of the week last week. What is your most anticipated title this year? Lost Ark, New World. We even said it didn't have to be free to play or whatever. We just wanted to know your most anticipated title this year. Japan's Freak says, question of the week, Blue Protocol, because I love most Bandai games, and I don't think you can go wrong there. I mean, the Tales series is just phenomenal. I was recommending that to somebody just this week, actually. Go ahead, Jason.
First of all, I'm going to do a box or two late in the chat here. Giving an A-bomb to hi-rez and a dub-bomb to Grinding Gear Games. I don't care about bad skits to hear about new stuff. Just show it please, and thank you. All right. Oh yeah, some of those hi-rez videos.
Yeah.
All right. This cast T-Call 2399 says question of the week, spelled it correctly this time. QOTW. Good job. Most anticipated game for me is Final Fantasy 16. With Yoshi P being producer, I want to see how he and the director handle a single-player Final Fantasy game.
T-Call, I don't think you're going to see that this year.
Yeah, I'm not on that band.
I think it's further ahead in development than a lot of people think, but I still think it's a 2022 game. But I will be happy to be wrong. I will be happy to be wrong. Go ahead, Wilfredo.
Stojanansky says, question of the week, most anticipated game for me is a new Yu-Gi-Oh game. Konami announced they're making new Yu-Gi-Oh game, and even though they didn't share any details, I'm excited for new, hopefully good, TCG.
If you want a good TCG, why are you hoping for Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh, fire!
You think I hate VR?
Hold on, let me get some.
He busted it out again. He was like, "Dude, dude."
Bruh.
Misfit Rain says, question of the week. Yeah, it's still New World. I'm either boring or no one has announced anything good. Although, always have been a fan of Far Cry games. 6 is coming soon. Edit. I forgot about Dying Light. Led something left studio. So, to put the game on delay. Still think it will come out this year, though. What is your most anticipated game this year, Jason? Do you have one yet?
I know I do, and I was just thinking about that the other day, and I don't remember what it was now, so it can't be that anticipated, I guess.
Wilfredo, you got one?
I mean, yes and no. I want to say Starfield, but I know that's not going to come out this year.
Oh God, no! It's a Bethesda game.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, really not anything.
I got Final Fantasy XIV's expansion. If we're talking about MMOs, that's going to come this year. We'll hear more about that February 5th. And
Vampire.
And yeah, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is, we don't have a date. It was supposed to come out last year, got delayed. Although I was like an 8 or a 9 on that one. I've kind of backed off and I'm at like a 6 or a 7 since there were some leadership changes and writing team and director changes at the end of the year that they were just let go. So, but I'm still cautiously optimistic about that one. Go ahead, Jason.
That's all I was saying. Yeah, that's probably the game that I'm most anticipating this year. Yeah.
Question of the week this week. What is your favorite MMO of all time and why? So we talked about what is coming up. We've like dabbled in, I don't think I've ever actually asked this question, although we've dabbled in like what's your favorite this category. MMORPG, what is your favorite of all time and why? I don't care if it's free to play or not. Put it in the comments below. While you're there, give us your weekly bombs. Dub-bomb for something good, A-bomb for something bad in the world of gaming. Remember, next Friday is Bring a Friend Day. Show up at 1 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/MMOBomb. Watch the cast live and make sure you bring at least one new friend who maybe we can convince into slapping that follow button. Until then, Wilfredo, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Twitter at Damien X Marius, and soon twitch.tv/Damien X Marius, for I will start streaming on Sundays.
Yeah, all right. What about you, Mr. Winter?
Find me on Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/Jason Winter, where I will not play any VR game or Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there on Twitter at magicman1, but more importantly, follow at MMOBomb so we can tweet at you with all the latest news, articles, giveaways, first look videos, free-to-play cast, free-to-play weekly, and so much more. Until next time, stay safe. See you on the servers.